Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Dr. Glenn Vo, and welcome to another edition of the Backstage Podcast. I got the man himself. You guys know him as a super dental entrepreneur, but I'm gonna rattle off a couple of things, okay? Motivational speaker, founder of multiple companies, super dad, super husband. But one of the biggest things that I want you guys to realize is he is someone that can help you. If you're a dental practice owner, you're looking for the right way to exit. Maybe it's selling to a DSO. Maybe it's selling it and riding off to the sunset. Maybe it's joining another group practice. Whatever it is, he's got the keys, but most importantly, he's got the hookup. It is Elijah Desmond himself. Elijah, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Hey, I'm super excited. And I'm also really excited to be getting interviewed because I've been doing so many interviews of all these amazing members of the Backstage Pass. I'm excited to be interviewed myself. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey man, someone had to take the challenge, but honestly, it's my pleasure. And honestly, I mean, so many people know you for so many different things, but I really want to kind of bring it kind of full circle. Because honestly, Elijah, when you first started, you were all about uplifting people, and you still are. Whether it's people trying to get out of the op, whether it's people trying to connect with others, because dentistry can be a lonely place, man, when you don't have others to connect with. Whether it's Facebook communities, whether it's communities on a cruise ship, at a dental festival. But now, because you have matured as a dental entrepreneur, everyone else has matured as well. And now a lot of us are like, what is next? I'm looking for an exit strategy. So before we get into that, because I want to talk about that, there's going to be some people who don't know you. And guys, if you don't know who Elijah Desmond is, you need to hurry up and meet him. He's the type of guy, you see him at a trade show, a conference, event, just go say what's up. That's how he is. But Elijah, for those who don't know who you are, man, let's just go back in time. Let's talk about the origin story and let's move it all the way up to what you're doing now, and then we'll talk about that.
Absolutely. So I guess I'll start with I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my family. And I'm going to
Yeah.
start by saying, not my wife and my kids right now. Okay. I'm going to go back to that and say, I was raised by just an amazing mother, and I was raised from an amazing father, and I was raised just by loving people. I was born and raised in Ohio on a big farm. Okay, a big farm, and I would go from the farm to the city. So my parents were divorced at they divorced at 8 years old, and I actually like had a better life with them being divorced than I did with them together because I had like four families at all time that loved on me and really taught me who I am today. I got to see, what it's like to be living on a big farm, what it's like to live in the big city, what it's like to be, in the ghetto, in the hood, have nothing, and cherish small things, to being with a very well off family, where I would get like big Clydesdale horses for Christmas, right? And be around I wouldn't call it extreme wealth, but very well off people. So I got to see a lot growing up, and um, early on as a kid, as we're talking about my origin story, I found out my why, and my why is actually saving kids' lives from the stage. From the stage,
Wow.
as a motivational speaker, I'm literally preventing suicide from kids. And here's what's crazy: is I didn't realize I could do the exact same thing as an adult in dentistry, helping dentists who are burnt out, who are depressed, who are just overwhelmed, and really, it's led me to who I am and the businesses that I actually serve today with the brokerage firm. But there's a lot that happened in between there, between the brokerage firm, and I'm sure we'll get into it. But that's where I came from, right? And now I live in Florida, with my beautiful wife who supports my every move, and my amazing kids. I'm gone 7 days a month on most months, and sure they'd miss their dad, but I'm able to provide for them, the life that I feel is ideal, and able to be a basketball coach for my little girls, which I was so happy when they asked me. This is my third year in a row doing that, and so that's really the background on me and the why outside of business. This who what shaped me and what created me to who I am today.
I love it, man. Super inspiring. And again, guys, if you've not met Elijah in person, go say what's up. I think a lot of times people feel like, you're doing so many different things and they're like, oh man, he's not approachable and they're kind of scared to talk to you and stuff like that. I'm letting everyone know. Actually, Elijah loves that. But what he really loves, and the reason why we are such good friends, is being of service and being a resource for others. And so this is the perfect segue to what you're doing now, what you're really passionate about, and that is helping dental practice owners figure out what their next step is. Because again, we've been at this for years, right, Elisha? And so
Yeah,
what happens is the community that has been following us, they've also matured in their business and in their lives. And I want you to really address one thing because a lot of times when people think about exiting or doing a transition, a lot of times these dental professionals, they come to me and they said, "Hey man, I'm not ready to sit at a retirement home and, knit mittens and play golf all day." And I said, "Who told you had to do that?" There's this misconception that when you're ready to move on to another level, that your life ends. And it's not the case. You're moving on to another level. So, Elijah, can you address that and also talk about what you're doing right now for helping so many dental practice owners move on to the next level of their career?
absolutely. So I'll address that. When you sell your dental practice, you really want to get the maximum dollar amount and you want to work for another 3 to 5 years. You may not be ready until after that, but in this current condition of our industry, what's happening is there is a lot of groups, DSOs, private equity that are purchasing practices and essentially making it to where you don't have to run the business anymore. Well, the truth is they want you to work 3 to 5 years after purchasing you. And look, if you've built your entire life's work up to this moment. If you had the ability to sell your practice for, I'm going to call it $2 million, versus if you had the ability to sell it for 3.5 or $3 million and continue to pull a strong, paycheck with 35% ish of your collections, wouldn't it make more sense for you to do that than to take $2 million? I mean, I'm taking the 3.5 million with the paycheck all day and not having to worry about the business. So that's the common misconception. Do not call me when it's too late. Don't call me whenever you're
Yeah.
ready to sell. Call me prior to being them. But let me back it up even a step further. I have been coached. I think everybody should have a coach, by the way. Every business owner should have a coach. I personally have had a coach for about 3.5 years. And about 3 years ago, that coach told me to send an email out, a specific email to 10 of the people that were the closest to me in my world. Okay. Who's that? That means my mom, my dad. I even sent it back to him. That's Dr. Eric Roman. I sent it to some colleagues. I sent it to my team members that have been with me for almost a decade. And I said, if there was one thing that I had to offer the industry, my biggest asset, and it was like a one liner, what would it be? Well, 7 out of 10 of the people that responded to my email said that I am the connector. I am the connector. And Glenn, you and I have a lot in common as you're a connector as well, right? And so here's what's crazy. I spent the majority of my career serving the underdog, serving the
Yeah.
people that did not have a voice, serving the people that had the door closed on them, serving the people that had a dream and they didn't even know what that dream was going to be, but they had a dream. They wanted to find their why. And I served that community. I served them hard. And what happened is that, I go from, affecting 100 people to 1,000 people to thousands of people to tens and thousands of people in our industry. What I didn't know as I was serving and I was giving and I was inspiring and I was motivated, I didn't know that one day, just one day, I may need each and every one of them. And so I ended up needing them. And that day came. I turned on the switch a couple of years ago and decided that I would be a national sell side broker and represent the seller. And all of a sudden, I'm getting over 50 inbound leads of dentists that are wanting to sell their practice. Why? because I have such a huge reach. I'm the connector in our industry. I've been serving for so long for so many people. A lot of people that were the underdogs are now running stuff. They're at the
Mhm.
top, and they won't forget. Some of them, most of them, don't forget that I helped them whenever they were creating their empire. And so it's crazy how things work out. And now I would say that we're arguably one of the biggest, or have the most deal flow of dental brokerage firms that exist in the entire country representing the sellers. And oh, by the way, I can only work with about 10 to 20% of the people that are brought to me. What's the
Mhm.
reason for that? Well, at the end of the day, I will not sell your dental practice unless I feel that we have a good shot at selling it, number one. But more than anything, that you've built the practice up to being the highest possible it could be, meaning having the best margins that it can be. So if you called me up and say, hey, Elijah, I'd love to just talk about what it would be like to sell my practice in a couple years, I'm going to give you an insane amount of resources to make it to where when the time comes, you're sell ready. I'm not just going to say, sorry, see ya, you're too small or your margin aren't too big enough. I'm going to say, look, here's the roadmap to help you. And I'm not going to charge you anything to give you that advice.
I mean, that's amazing stuff there. And again, I want people to realize that um, when you get to a certain stage, what Elijah said, I think this is so important. When you want to exit, it's not when you're ready to walk out the door. And I tell people, imagine your career as a dental professional as like a career of a professional athlete. Okay. When you're a professional athlete, you go up and you hit a certain point where you're at your peak. And then eventually your skills go down, right? Well, most professional athletes, when they're about to go down on their peak, they try to get their last big contract, okay? And then they kind of go off on the sunset, all right? They don't wait until they're all the way down and try to get a contract. Guess what? They're not going to get top dollar. Same thing with your practice, okay? When your practice is at its peak, that's when you're going to want to say, hey, what does that look like? Because eventually things are going to go down, right? And I don't care who you are, Father Time catches up to everyone, but it has nothing to do with your skill set. It's also your life too. Maybe you've been grinding so much in your practice that now your spouse wants more of your time. Maybe
Yeah.
your family wants more of your time, right? And so the thing is that you don't want to make that decision when you're way down here, right, Elijah? When you're way down here, the numbers are the numbers, right? Like explain that to people because a lot of times people are like, well, hey, I built up all this goodwill and I did this and I did that. Well, sometimes you just got to sift through all that and look at the numbers and have that conversation and explain that to people because I think a lot of times people get really emotionally invested in their practice and they may get a little bit upset because they're like, I built this up and the numbers are the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, practices are selling on a multiple of EBITDA now. And so for those of you who don't know what EBITDA is, I'll make it very simple. It's the net profit in your practice after all the bills are after all the bills are paid, a regular salary for you, which is typically we'll call it 30 to 35%. What's left over? And the multiple means you're going to multiply that number by four, five, six, seven. If you're really big, eight, right? The bigger the net profit, the bigger the multiple. So you multiply it, right? Let's just say if you have 400,000 in net profit, you can multiply that times five or potentially more, but times five. So that means that $400,000 net profit, you get a $2 million check at the end of the day. You want to sell when you're going up. You don't want to sell when you're coming down.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to get less money if you're going down. If you're stagnant, it's okay, but that should tell you it's time for somebody to come in and take that business to the next level. And we have almost 100 big buyers, sophisticated buyers, and we have hundreds of private practice dentists as well. So don't take my words as, oh, he's only helping sell to groups and private practice dentists. I'm sorry, groups and DSOs and private equity. No, we have private practice dentists as well. Matter of fact, Glenn, you have a group of 60,000 in your group, and oftentimes you'll see me post looking for a private practice dentist to buy my practice. And so Anyways, you want to sell your practice when you're not, it doesn't have to be at the peak, but it could be trending up, and maybe you're tired of running the business. You don't have to wait till it's going down. You also don't want to wait until it's too late. So as you're older, groups that are buying you are looking at you as a risk. You know, they're looking at you as a risk because what happens if something happens to your health? Now their
Mhm.
investment is gone. So sell, while you're younger. Don't wait until it's too late. And you made a good point. You said your wife or your husband may want to see you more. They may want more of your time because you've been grinding. I'm here to tell you this, like, and this is not to brag or boast, but I could die tomorrow and feel complete. Sure, I want to see my kids live till they're older, but like, as far as the memories that I have made with my kids, the memories that I have made traveling all the world, I feel like I'm about 311 years old. I've had so many experiences, but I've built that in my life so I can do that. If you're a dentist and all you do is work and your kids miss you, your wife misses you, you want to have that memory, you want to have that experience. I'm just here to tell you, you're not getting any younger. You're not getting any younger. And when you sell your practice, guess what? You then have the ability to not work on the business part of it anymore. You can practice dentistry and go just do life with your kids, with your family. And you don't have to worry about the hard employee turnover that's constantly and the insurance, battles that many of us face. And you don't have to worry about the loans that are over your head because you can pay them all off and you can practice dentistry. And so I would just say take a look at how life is and the quality of life. No, it can be way better, and don't wait until it's too late, till you're forced to sell.
I love that, man. I love that, man. So, for those who are listening to what you're saying and they're like, you know what? I want to see where I'm at. And maybe they're ready or maybe they're not. Guys, here's the thing. Let someone who deals with this all the time give you the right advice. Don't go on Facebook and say, "Hey, what should I do?" And they're like, "Hey, don't sell to this, don't sell to that." At the end of the day, I tell all practice owners, you got to do what's good for you. Don't do what's good for me. Don't do what's good for all these people. I find it mind-boggling when people say you should never sell to a group or a DSO. It's mind-boggling because I would twist this around. Let's use something that we all understand, real estate. It's like me saying, I'm not selling my house to anyone from California. I'm not selling my house to anyone in New York. Do you guys realize how ridiculous that sounds? And so when you say, I'm not going to sell, look, your practice is your asset and your obligation is to you and your family, right? You got to get the best deal. So, with that being said, for those who are listening, Elijah, and watching right now, and they're like, you know what? Let me see what they can do. Let me put him to the test and see if he can really help me out. He can really give me advice. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
The best way to get in touch with me is going to dentalpitchbrokerage.com and just filling out the contact information. You can also email me personally at elijah@dentalpitchbrokerage.com. But I'm going to be honest. Listen, I am a millennial. I love social media. I live on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. It's me responding. I don't have an assistant responding there. I do have a very big team with Dental Pitch Brokerage that, by the way, are the experts in many categories of dentistry. We just don't have a bunch of business people. We have clinicians. We have people in the M&A space. We have two full-time attorneys, right? We have people that are in the real estate space. We have people that are very polished, and I am one of them. You have consultants as well that don't charge you, by the way, to grow your practice. I would say just to reach out to me on social media. I'll put you in touch with the right person on my team, but I just want to help you. Stop being bashful with reaching out. Conversations like this are free. Ask it earlier. Don't wait till the end. You come to me and you want to sell. Guess what? If you talk to me 6 months prior to that, a year prior to that, I may have been able to get you a $500,000 more. $1 million more if you just reach out and stop waiting. And I would be happy to refer you to anyone in my network. We have a strong group of entrepreneurs that we refer to, over 50 dental entrepreneurs that can service your practice, and many of them at no risk to you that will grow your business. And then when it comes time to sell, then maybe we can work with you. And if we can't work with you, I can refer you out to other trusted brokers who can, because I serve dentistry. I don't care if you're a private practice dentist, a group practice. I don't care if you are a dentist that is 6 million, 7 million, 8 million in revenue, or if you're 600,000 and you feel like you're stuck. I want to help you. I want to serve you and support you.
I love it. That's a mic drop right there. There's nothing for anything else for me to say, but I will say this, guys. Elijah is a resource. You worked really hard building your business. Maybe you are someone who is working for someone, for a practice owner. Maybe you've been an integral part. Maybe you're an associate, a partner. Maybe you work on their team and you see this and you see that there's potential for the practice owner that you are partner with, that you're working with, that maybe they should talk to Elijah. Introduce them. Do a solid for them, right? And I'm sure if you do a solid for them, they'll do a solid for you. Elijah, thank you so much, man, for the honor of interviewing you, and thank you so much for being on the
Absolutely.
Backstage podcast.
Thank you guys. Bye bye.